All right, so get ready because we are diving headfirst into a mystery. It's one that's left people baffled for years and years and years. We're going to be talking about the disappearance of Zigmund Adamski. Now, this isn't just another missing person case. This one has got twists and turns that'll leave you wondering what's real and what's not.
Oh, you're telling me it's like the definition of unexplained, this case is.
Right. So picture this. It's June 6, 1980. Zygmunt, a Polish immigrant living in England, heads out to do what? Grab some groceries. Pretty normal, right? I mean, who doesn't do that? Well, he never makes it home.
And 5 days later, they find his body, but get this, on top of a coal pile 10 feet off the ground.
10 feet up. No way. I mean, come on. Like, he just decided to climb a coal pile and then just, I don't know, have a heart attack. It just doesn't add up, especially when you start looking at the details.
You got no footprints leading to the body. His clothes are spotless on a coal pile. And then to top it off, his clothes are inside out and backwards. I mean, what?
And it's not. It's like someone wanted to make sure we knew, like this was no ordinary death.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't natural causes, what was it? And then the autopsy report, it just adds another layer to the whole thing, doesn't it?
It really does. Because, okay, they say he died of a heart attack, but here's the thing. They found burns on his body. And are you ready for this? There's this weird gel-like substance on the burns. They have no idea what it is.
Still, to this day, nobody can explain it. That's straight out of like a science fiction movie. It's like someone put it there on purpose.
Yeah. And it just brings up so many questions, right? Like, I mean, was it some kind of chemical? Does it have anything to do with the coal pile? We already got this crazy disappearance, a body in a place it shouldn't be, and now we throw in this mystery goo.
And, oh, it gets even weirder. 6 months later, the police officer, the one who found Zygmunt's body, he has his own run-in with the unexplained.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Officer Alan Godfrey, he's looking into reports of, wait for it, disappearing cows. I mean, come on, that's strange enough.
And as he's driving, he sees this, well, he says it's a large bus-like object just hovering above the ground. And what happens next is, well, it's kind of classic UFO stuff. They call it missing time.
Missing time, meaning, for those of us who aren't like UFO experts.
Well, missing time is when someone can't account for a period of time. Like, it often happens with, those supposed alien encounters. People just find themselves somewhere else and they got no clue how they got there. That's what happened to Officer Godfrey.
So he sees this UFO, and then bam, he's miles away with no memory of the trip.
Exactly. And get this, his shoes, they were placed neatly beside him, like someone or something took them off during this missing time and then just placed them there.
Two bizarre events, both tied to Zygmunt's case. I mean, come on, it can't be just coincidence, can it? What are the odds? Two strange things, same area, just a few months apart. I mean, it almost feels like they're connected,
It really does make you think. And back then, in that area, there were tons of UFO sightings. I mean, it makes you wonder, what if Zygmunt's death and Officer Godfrey's weird bus thing, what if they're part of something bigger?
Okay, so we got unexplained burns, this mystery goo, a body where it shouldn't be, missing time, UFO sightings.
I mean, it's enough to make anyone think, maybe, just maybe, there's something extraterrestrial going on. Could Zygmunt have been abducted by aliens? They run some tests, do their thing, and then they just put him back? Is that why his clothes were all messed up?
Hold on. Before we go full on X-Files here, there's one more thing we gotta consider. Years later, Zygmunt's family, they revealed that he owed money to a loan shark.
Right, the loan shark, right. Kind of brings things back down to earth a bit, doesn't it? Maybe this is the key to the whole mystery.
But would a loan shark really go through all this trouble? I mean, that's a lot of work just to collect a debt, isn't it?
Yeah, you got a point. It does seem a little extreme, doesn't it? And that's what makes this case so tricky. Even the most straightforward explanation, well, it still leaves us with questions.
So then, how do we make sense of these two totally different ideas?
Well, that's what we're here for, right? We're going to break it all down, look at the evidence, and see if we can solve this puzzle.
And maybe, just maybe, we'll find that missing piece that makes everything click. But for now, we're stuck with this huge, baffling mystery. Was Zygmund Adamski just a victim of a crime? Or was it something way, way more extraordinary? It's like we're trying to put together this puzzle, but like half the pieces are from a totally different puzzle. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've got the everyday stuff like groceries and a loan shark, but then you got these other things that just just scream that something strange is going on.
Yeah, that's what makes this case so captivating. It really makes you question like what's possible.
So let's pretend for a minute, okay? Let's say the loan shark thing. That's the real story. But how do you explain the body being up on that coal pile, the burns, the weird gel stuff? I mean, it doesn't seem like your average, revenge killing, does it?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time criminals tried to make a crime scene look like something else. Maybe they wanted to make it look like an accident or even something supernatural, just to throw the police off track.
So you're saying the loan shark wanted to make it look like aliens did it? I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
It does sound kind of crazy, yeah. But then again, I mean, if you're already okay with murder, maybe a little bit of theatrics isn't that big of a deal, right? And think about it. That would scare anyone else who owes them money, right?
Yeah. I guess it's kind of twisted, but I can see the logic. But okay, even if the loan shark, set the whole thing up to look weird, how do you explain the burns and that goo they found? I mean, come on. Would a loan shark have that kind of stuff?
I mean, I guess it's possible, but it doesn't seem likely, does it? I mean, they never figured out what that stuff was, so it could be something really rare,
Right. It's not like he just went to the store and bought a bottle of mystery goo.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget about Officer Godfrey, right? Are we saying the loan shark also abducted the cop and played with his shoes? I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's where the loan shark theory kind of falls apart. It's just too hard to see how the UFO thing is connected to, collecting a debt, the timing, the way it all happened. It just doesn't line up.
So are we back to aliens?
Mm-hmm.
Are we saying Zigmund got taken, they did experiments or whatever, and then they just dumped him back? Is that why his clothes were all inside out and backwards?
I mean, it's a pretty interesting theory, especially with all the stuff we can't explain. But we got to be careful. We got to be careful about jumping to conclusions. Just because we don't know what happened doesn't mean it was aliens. There could be other explanations.
Like what? I mean, I'm all ears. What else could explain, all this crazy stuff?
Well, we got to consider the possibility of a hoax. I mean, people have been known to, fake stuff, make up stories, plant evidence. Maybe someone just wanted attention.
So you're saying someone could have put Zygmunt's body up on the coal pile, added the burns, the gooey stuff, even made up the UFO sighting? I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a long shot, yeah. Maybe someone else wanted to be famous,
But why go to all that trouble? What's the point?
Maybe it was a prank, or maybe someone wanted to, make a local legend, some crazy story that would bring tourists and stuff to the area,
It sounds crazy, but yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened. But even if it was a hoax, they would have to be really, really good at it, right? You got the witnesses, the police, all the evidence.
That's true. And a hoax wouldn't explain Officer Godfrey and his missing time, would it? Unless he was in on it, but there's nothing to suggest that.
So we could rule out the loan shark and the hoax. So where does that leave us? Back at the start with all these weird details and no answers.
Not necessarily. There are still other things we can look at. Maybe Zygmunt's death was just an accident, a bunch of really, really unfortunate things that led to his body ending up in that weird place.
An accident, like he tripped and fell onto some hot coals and then just floated 10 feet in the air. I don't know about that one.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty unlikely, but we got to consider everything. Maybe there was some kind of industrial accident at the coal yard, something with chemicals or equipment that could have caused the burns and left that weird substance, and maybe, in the chaos, someone accidentally moved the body.
I guess it's possible.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't explain the clothes and what happened to Officer Godfrey.
Right.
And what about natural stuff? Could any of that explain what happened to Zygmunt?
Yeah, that's another thing we can look into. I mean, there are natural things that happen, things we don't understand that could explain some of the weird stuff in this case. Like ball lightning, it's rare, but it can cause burns and leave behind like weird residue.
So you're saying Zygmunt got hit by lightning, which would somehow teleported him to the top of the coal pile and left some mystery goo on his body.
Again, it's a long shot, yeah. But we got to look at everything, even if it sounds crazy. The point is there could be a perfectly normal explanation for all this, even if we don't get it yet.
It's like we're stuck between what we know and what we don't know, Yeah. We want to believe there's a reason for everything, but But then we got these things that just don't make sense.
And that's what's so great about a mystery like this. It makes us question what we know and admit that there's still stuff out there that we just can't explain.
It's kind of humbling, right, to think that with all this stuff we know, we're still surrounded by the unknown.
Totally. And that's what makes this whole deep dive so cool, so intriguing. It's a reminder that there's still mysteries out there just waiting to be solved, and that the search for the truth, well, it can take you to some pretty unexpected places.
It's kind of funny when you think about it,
Yeah.
We spend so much time trying to figure everything out, putting things in categories and whatnot, and then we get a case like this, just blows it all up. Like, there's still stuff out there that doesn't fit in our neat little boxes.
It's almost like this case is like testing us, challenging everything we thought we knew about reality. It's asking us, are we really open to the idea that there might be more to the universe than we think?
Even if we go with the loan shark, or even the hoax, there's still stuff that just doesn't add up.
Exactly. Like, okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that the loan shark was trying to make a statement, scare people, whatever. Why do all that? Why put the body on a coal pile 10 feet up? The burns, the gel. I mean, it just seems way too complicated, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like they were trying to communicate, but in a language we don't understand.
And that's what makes the alien theory so interesting. It gives us a way, even if it sounds crazy, to maybe understand all this weirdness. Maybe the burns were from some kind of alien weapon, the gel is some extraterrestrial thing, and they put the body there for us to find.
But are we just trying to force an explanation, Are we so afraid of not knowing that we'd rather make up a story, even if it's about aliens, than just admit we have no clue?
That's a good point. We like to see patterns, we try to find meaning in all the chaos. But I think there's a difference between making something up and just being open to the idea that there might be things out there that we just don't get yet.
So where does that leave us? Do we just accept that maybe Zygmunt was abducted? Or do we have to live with the fact that we might never know what happened?
I think what makes this case so cool is that it doesn't need a clear-cut answer. It lets us think about all the mysteries of the universe, question what we believe, and be open to the idea that there's still so much out there.
It really is. Like, this case is a mirror,
Yeah.
reflecting our own thoughts and beliefs. If you want to believe in the paranormal, you'll see evidence everywhere. But if you like things more down to earth, you'll focus on the more normal parts of the story.
And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from all this. The truth, whatever it is, it's often up to us. It's influenced by how we see things and what we already believe.
So we might never know what really happened to Zygmund Adamski, but what we do know is that this case, it keeps our imaginations going. It makes us question everything. And it reminds us that there are still mysteries out there waiting for us.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll figure it out with new science or just a new way of looking at things. We might finally solve this crazy puzzle.
Until then, we just got to keep thinking about the possibilities. Was Zygmund Adamski the victim of a crime? Was it all a big hoax? Or did something truly incredible happen to him on that day back in 1980? The mystery is still alive. We want to hear what you think. Share your thoughts, your theories, your questions. What do you believe happened to Zygmund Adamski? Hit us up on social media. And until next time, keep searching, keep questioning, and keep your minds open to all the amazing things the universe has to offer.